if I
We
can.
are live.
Oh,
That's
I
okay.
love
We are
it.
now.
I love it.
You look fabulous. You look
Oh,
absolutely
likewise.
stunning. Beautiful.
Oh,
My
bless
goodness.
you. Right back at
So,
you.
how cold is it where you are?
It's I was just having these conversations few times because with few people now, because everyone's perception is that literally we're freezing here. It's really not. It's right now, it's maybe -3, -4, -5. Yeah, we have snow. It's winter wonderland. It's beautiful, but honestly, the Arctic it's a lot of propaganda. So don't be afraid of the Arctic.
Is it this global warming?
Don't get
Oh
me
my
started
goodness.
on the global warming.
Well, you look fabulous. You absolutely
Bless
look
you, right
magnificent.
back at you.
And you're 1 hour ahead, aren't you, from
I am.
where?
But, it's been so I have a window behind. So let's roll with the punches. Now I have a window behind me, which is obviously just reflecting back the room. But it
Ah,
gets dark around sort of 2:30 now. 2 o'clock, 2:30. Yeah,
oh wow. What,
yeah,
dark, dark?
yeah.
Wow. How long for?
I mean, we still get. See, this is the thing. I mentioned that before, but I moved here in 2017 in the winter, and for the 3 subsequent years, we did experience that full sort of blackout winter. So there was a period when it would get fully dark, and that would go on for about a month, or sort of at least 3 weeks. And in 2020, this is the crazy thing, okay? In 2020, that was the first winter, and mind you, right? I'm from Poland, so for us, this is really special, and we kind of, well, I pay attention to those things. So I was going to invite my friends to kind of show them, what it feels like to, the night 24/7. But because of all the COVID nonsense, right? At the time, they couldn't travel, so they cancelled. Which was that year, that was actually a good thing, because this was the first year when it did not black out like every year. So 2020 was the first year when we still have maybe 2.5, 3 hours of light during the day. And that started in
Wow.
2020, yeah, and 2021, 2022. So I'm just waiting now. It should be getting to that point in a minute where, we should lose all the sun, all the daylight. I should call it daylight. But the last 3 years we haven't.
That's
So
amazing.
what's happening, right? What's happening? And
Yeah.
I can even see, I think few people, I mentioned that before, few people tell me that even they've noticed that uh, the sunlight seems to be either stronger, or the angles have changed. I can definitely see that here, because we are I'm pretty much 70 degrees north, so we are pretty up there, or to the to the middle. So this is far enough to really see that perspective, to really get that a proper idea. And I can see that, we get the sun back a month earlier in terms of sort of direct sunlight into my house. So we get it now a month earlier. We should have normally be getting it in May here where I live, but we're getting it in April, early April. So something's changed. Something's happening.
Absolutely. So do you have to take like extra vitamin D for during the winter months?
The vitamin D, that whole I just don't want to sort of start too many topics, but in so I come from Poland, and back in the days when we were born, I was born in the autumn. So the children born in the autumn, they would be getting vitamin D, sort of to start you up, and
Yeah.
they would write in our sort of birth notes, or sort of those booklets. They would write the dosage of that vitamin D. That was in 100,000 units, and right now the vitamin D in supplements it's like a mini dose. It's a micro dose of what it should be. So to be honest with you, when I look at that market, it's pointless. The supplements, it's all marketing. You're not gonna get the vitamin D from the supplements the way we used to. So no, I'm not taking any vitamin D. I mean, hey, look at us. I look like a ghost. I can see. I think it's also the light thing. But I think it's the lighting, to be fair. But no, I don't do
I've got quite a warm light here at the moment, and a warm light there. But
I should know better, because this is really not doing me any favors. I'm gonna scare people.
No, you look absolutely beautiful, actually stunning. So I have no problem about this. Where, for the people that are watching, where exactly are you?
So I am in the north of Norway, past the Arctic Circle. So this is the Arctic. This is 70 degrees up north, Norway, Lofoten area, sort of a little bit more north towards Tromsø. So pretty winter time here now, in terms of the snow, because obviously temperatures are not really that scary.
Wow, excellent. And is that a cat I just heard?
Yeah, I'm so sorry, because now it's the traffic in and out. My cats are whenever you close the door and you have a cat, this is the most important and interesting time for the cats to start getting interested. So we have a bit of a traffic going on here.
It's fine. I love cats. Right, so thank you everyone for joining us. This is Ola from Self Mastery Quest. Today's Friday, the 1st of December. Can you believe it?
Right.
Can you believe it? How fast it was, just all going on fast forward. And you're going to come on, and the topic today is the end of the world. It sounds very wow. The apocalypse and various cultural prophecies and mythology, and what it means and how it all ties up to current events. Is that right?
I think this could be probably of interest, given the current revelations, right, and the current events, what's unfolding in front of us, which I think for many people might look pretty scary and hopeless, whereas actually, the worse it gets, the more ridiculous it gets. This is the bigger confirmation that that side is really sort of grabbing and trying to hold on to the last resort, literally on every front. So I just suggested that, why don't we look into that? What are the prophecies? What is the Bible, the apocalypse, saying about the current times? Is it the current times? How do we know that it's now, right? Because I think this is also the important question, the issue of how do we know it's now? Like, a lot of times when we had hard times in history, we might have thought that people of that time also would have assumed that maybe they are living in the end times, but that wasn't the case. So why now? Why we? Is it truly the time? So that's what I wanted to go a little bit deeper into.
I can't wait. I'm going to just let you take the stage. Go for it.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, please.
I mean, when someone says the end of the world, it's quite a frightening thing to say, isn't it? Because people automatically think that we're all going to disappear. So what does the end of the world, in your perspective, mean? Is it the end of the one world and the beginning of another, or?
Exactly, right. So this is I think this is absolutely the starting point for us tonight. This whole notion, right? This whole idea of end of the world, very scary. For many people, I think it was on purpose planted in our minds, right, in our psyche, in a certain way, as to the judgment day, the end time. This is like a scary perspective, whereas that is not this. So remember that in this matrix, everything is sort of upside
inverted
down, absolutely inverted, flipped. So whenever we are being scared, and whenever we are being told about the doomsday and the Armageddon, probably the message, the true message behind it is quite the opposite. So the end of the world for pretty much any culture would always mean the end, or the end of the world in this context. The end of what world? That is the question. What world is ending? Well, the world that is ending is the world that we really, probably most of us, would not like to have. Because if you look across the world, right, regardless of how many of us are really out there, how many people want to live in a world where we have wars, where we have sort of chaos, where we have luck, where people need to slave away, where, you know, we don't have money, we don't have the time, we kind of barely get by, right? Most of the people are kind of living, trying to make ends meet. This is not really life. This is like a bare existence. This is
Yep.
This is nothing for most people that we should really call an amazing life experience. So if you sort of look across the board, how many of us are choosing that kind of life? Like, how many of us want to live in a world with wars, with the sort of negative side of things? And the answer is probably not very many, probably none. So where is this coming from? Right? Where is this coming from? Why is that the state of the affairs? Why is that what's been happening? And this is not just now. We're looking back in history. It's been pretty much several thousand years of the same scenario. So what is happening?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, previously we had a bit of a chat on that astrology angle and the matrix and the construct. What's the sort of construct that we live under, and how we are, were invaded as a planet, as a species, and what happened here. And of course we have that context from the Sumerians, from the Egyptians, from pretty much any geography. So whether that's the Norse mythology, whether that's the Greek, the Roman, the Vedic texts, every single culture would have explained that context of some kind of invasion of the gods, of that race that we call the gods. So the Gnostics call them archons. In Sumeria they were called the Anunnaki. So obviously different sort of geography, we have different vocabulary describing the same context. So it's not us wanting to live in this world. This world has been in a way brought upon us through a very specific cause of action that they started long time ago, and they created here a sort of harvesting machine for the energy. They created a certain context technologically to be able to even run this place, right? This is what we later understand as the firmament. So this is part of the technology. The zodiac, which is also a way of harvesting the energy from people. So the zodiac, the numerology, the codes of the matrix. If you look into that, there is a very IT kind of mathematical binary feel to it. Why? Because it is coming from technology. It is coming from AI. So they have used a very advanced level of AI, artificial intelligence, to create that structure. So this world has been designed, as in, not the world, maybe I should be a bit careful choosing my words, because I do not represent the notion that we don't exist, nothing is real. However, we have been locked in a very narrow bandwidth, in a very narrow spectrum, literally the visible light spectrum. So our perception, our experience is very, very limited. And obviously they are using certain frequencies. So they are broadcasting literally certain frequencies upon our pineal gland to kind of steer that experience and to trigger us, to cause certain reactions, to kind of poke the bear, if you like, which is exactly what they want, because this is how they siphon this energy. This is how they suck the energy out of us, getting the reactions, right? So we've covered that last time. So this is the world that is ending. That's the good news. So we should be actually really happy, because the apocalypse, Ragnarok. Here I am in Norway. In Norse mythology, we have the stories of the Vikings, the story of the old Scandinavian tales, the Edda, talking about Ragnarok. So Ragnarok from Old Norse is the doomsday, is the doom of the gods. And men, so they say, but be careful about the translation there. So the doom is the doom of the gods. What gods? Well, the fake gods, the gods that have come and call themselves the gods of this world, right? So this is the end of the world, their world. And so that we can go back to our world. You know, I always say that people really like the Matrix, and obviously we kind of got used to, oh, the Matrix is a documentary, and yeah, there is obviously an element of that. We are kind of in this illusion, right? In Maya, in the illusion, yes, because our perception has been so narrowed. However, what I really like to do is I like to refer to the Avatar, especially the first Avatar. That is truly the story of what happened here. They obviously flipped it, right? So we have humans invading Pandora. It's flipped. So we have been invaded. We, as the humankind, we were an extremely spiritually advanced race. It's the humans that were invaded, and a certain world was created here, using our energy, sort of using us as their supply, physically, energetically, on many levels. So we are returning back to that original world, if you like. It will require of us, obviously, a lot of adjustments, and probably, you know, our generation will definitely not see the sort of the finish line on this, but we are here to definitely start the transition. And I don't even think that this transition is particularly long. I wouldn't be surprised if we do not see major changes in our lifetime. I think we will. I think we will.
Yeah, I agree with you. So when you say they're siphoning our energy, how do they siphon our energy?
So there are, I see it in a sort of twofold way. I call it the active and the passive way of siphoning the energy. The passive way, I would qualify the zodiac mechanism as part of that. So literally that kind of passive code, the matrix, each of us incarnating here, we it's a little bit like as you incarnate here, your data, just like you enter in a country, right? You kind of, you come to border control, and they need to know who they are dealing with. So they like to kind of run a check on you. They like to see your documents. So a soul coming in, whether we are coming through the internal incarnation process, because obviously this space is closed off. So those that do not know how to get out of here, you will be, as the Hermetica text, the Hermetic text, as they say, you will be tossed between heaven and earth indefinitely. So there are people that will be, there are souls that are constantly being trapped and thrown between heaven and earth. And then you have the other ones, the ones that maybe do know how to get out of here, which I think we mentioned before, the sort of the ways they talk about, the ways of getting out of here. Those that might be sort of coming in specifically for this time, so they are kind of coming in from outside of this construct. So that information will be read by the matrix controller at the entry, and of course this is a threat. You know, those people, the souls that are coming here, that are maybe a little bit more advanced, a little bit well equipped to kind of counteract what goes on here, become a threat, right? They pose a direct threat to this establishment, especially in the times now, because they knew very well what times are coming. So they, because this was their playground, so it's kind of like, you're coming to my game, you're gonna play by my rules, right? So the zodiac will apply to you certain codes, certain sort of additional information to literally block you, to kind of create this illusion about yourself. You're not good enough. You need to go through these traumas. You're going to get this conditioning, to literally separate us from that from seeing that full potential that we are, so that we in some way are limited or kind of blocked from fully connecting to that potential that we represent, right? I mean, that's what you would do. That kind of makes sense how they do it. So the astrology, numerology, all the coding mechanism, they allow us to get an insight into, okay, what is the code? What is your code in particular? How can we navigate around it? What kind of illusion have you been sold through the programming with your family, through the bad experiences with other people, or with mostly starting obviously in childhood? So what cards have you been given, and how to best navigate? Do not buy into that nonsense. How to best navigate around it and out back into your full potential. So one way is how are they sort of pulling that energy out of us? Through that code that they will ascribe to us at birth. And obviously you will play that out. So that scenario needs to play out in your life, and it will be playing out. It will be playing out via, childhood and the sort of trauma that you will experience there, then relationships, then whatever other situation, maybe work relationships, etc. They love to use that card, the relationship card, right? Because it really triggers. It really kind of gets us, right? But probably many people have noticed that even though you will do a lot of healing, you do this healing, but really do these situations stop? They don't, right? So you think you're healing certain patterns, you think you're healing, overcoming some trauma, but then you meet someone and they again hit that spot, and here you are, right? Like, why is this happening to me again? Well, because that is the code that you have received. So actually there's no fault on your side. They like to guilt us. They like us to feel like there is something wrong with us. Clearly I'm not healed enough. Clearly I'm not good enough. Clearly I am broken. So that those negative things keep happening to me. And mind you, I'm not saying that there is no personal ownership. Absolutely there is a personal ownership. However, when we are being guilt tripped and tricked into shame and sort of that not good enough idea, I'm sorry, I have to speak up, because I can see that very clearly in the chart, which parts in the chart represent that kind of voice coming from the soul versus the nonsense coming from the matrix. And this is what I like to kind of really bring out in the reading. So this is one way of sort of pulling our energy. So they will be triggering. They will create the right conditions to play right into your code, to that kind of traumas, to the conditioning that we would have received, right? To kind of continue to trigger you, so that with lack of awareness, you are going to play right into it, right? You're just gonna be pulled into that. So this is us meeting the same over and over again, the same type of, let's say, partner, or we finding ourselves all the time having money issues, right? Like not being able to really get out of that and getting really frustrated because it feels like a spell has been put on us. What's happening? And without that context, without that understanding, things get really it can really get to you, right? They get you down. They can you. A lot of people will feel like, no matter what I do, it's hopeless. So this is
So what you're saying is that we're born under a programming as it is. So what you're saying is, so everyone that's born at a certain time, so we've already been programmed with certain things that will happen and keep happening in our lives.
We are programmed to be, so we get kind of a specific conditioning, programming, or a trauma that happens in childhood, and then because we have specifically that programming assigned to us, that type of experience will keep repeating.
And is this what they're feeding off the energy then? Is it like a misery programming to make us suffer?
Absolutely. Absolutely right. That is exactly how it works. That is exactly how it works, because you see the rays that we are dealing here with, and even David Icke talks about it, right? He kind of drops a lot of good stuff here and there. That they feed, they are not interested in the good stuff. They're not interested in the good energy. They operate on a very low vibrational sort of bandwidth, right? This is why they are interested in wars, they are interested in conflicts, they're interested in sort of famine, in negativity, they're interested in us being miserable, in us being sick, right? Because this keeps the vibration at a certain level, at a level that they can operate from, that they were always able to really feed off, because you obviously have to make a resonance, right? You have to make a match. This is what they are looking for. This is what we need to provide. So they're not interested in us being creative, positive, having an abundant, happy life, because that does not provide anything. That actually makes them very uncomfortable. So they are trying to keep us in that lowest form, in terms of birth survival, right? That's what it comes down to. And we have been pissing them off, quite a lot over time, because it turns out that they've been switching off different strands of our DNA. They've gotten us down to 2, right, active, with the rest so-called junk, and we are still kicking. So it's and we are still connected to that soul. We still kind of trying to find our ways around it, but that is absolutely the passive mechanism that they have plugged us into. And the active being, turn on the TV. So all the nonsense, right, on the social media, the TV. So this is everything, that the Netflix, right? So whatever they want you to feed off from, and whatever they want you to put out as a result, you're gonna find in the media, in the newspaper, in the news, in the whatever they are planning to sort of feed us with. That is, that I call it the active part. So literally, on one end you can be miserable because this is the code you got, and until you really click, like, hold on a minute, things keep repeating here. Hold on a minute, it cannot be that I keep being triggered by this, and this is something so wrong with me. I don't think so, right? Until you click that, you're just gonna be susceptible to that, and you are going to be giving away your energy. You're gonna be angry, you're gonna be disappointed, you're gonna be depressed. They love it. They love that. I mean, look at Big Pharma, right? I mean, the more on the pills you are, and the more down and exhausted you are, well, the better. It's a never-ending process. They love it. So we have sort of,
and we see this in the films and the TV as well. I mean, I was watching something the other day, and the films, generally, most films are all about people struggling and families struggling, and people can't find, where they're going to make the next money. And, and then you've got one of the family members or children that are really ill, and they can't afford to give them the care. And it's so depressing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But even in the last 3 years, since the sort of pandemic kicked off, the pandemic program, right?
Yeah.
We have obviously sort of separated in some way into like 2 groups in society. One being the one that just doesn't really have an idea what's going on, and they kind of still believes the government. And then this is there is this other part which kind of clicked on, and you would think that this other part, because obviously this is where a lot of us like to identify with, and this is who we usually look out and seek out, right, in society. But if you notice, if you open Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, probably all the other social media, I like to say that there is propaganda for the unawakened, there is propaganda for the awakened. So here we have the awakened, the truthers, fighting amongst each other. Always it's now it's the Israel, that now is the thing, right? But then it's the Ukraine. Oh, then it's the earth is flat or not flat. It's like, but can you see beyond this? Can you see that even you guys are being kept in the same type of environment, right? You're fighting jumping to each other's throats. You're fighting about things that really, is it that important to know if there are resets every 200 years or 300 years or 500 years? Is it that important to like argue about it? So
yeah, we shouldn't be arguing about it. And you're right, a lot of us end up ourselves, even as awake people, still stuck within a low frequency by arguing, when really we should rise above it and say, well, actually, no one actually really truly knows the truth. We can only go with what we're surrounded with right now.
You know, of course, this is what they want. They want us fighting so that they take the attention away. They sort of divert the attention away from the important things, which is, hey, the end of the world. So hopefully you will miss it, and hopefully you will feed the artificial, superficial structures that they are desperately trying to build to extend this process, because this could be over. This could be over if we stop, because we continue to sort of feed into that. You see, I wanted to talk about the end of the world because it's actually a really important thing to understand something here. In the apocalypse, what we see in the apocalypse is the sort of sequence of events that's been explained as in how this end of the world is going to come about. And there is specifically a celestial event described, if we know how to interpret that. There is a celestial event described, the virgin, the woman, dressed or with sun, clothed in the sun, and the crown of 12 stars above her head, and she was with a child, and the moon at her feet, the moon under her feet. What does that mean? Even Vatican admitted in 2017 that event, that apocalyptic event, has already taken place in 2017. So the autumn equinox 2017, that celestial event was observed and confirmed by even Vatican websites. So basically the apocalypse is upon us. The sequence has kicked off. It actually kicked off a little bit earlier, because we have even the Mayas talking about the end of the world 2012. What happened? Well, something happened there as well, but it's not like the end of the world and we're all gonna die. But again, a certain sequence have commenced at the time. So 2017, a fall equinox, what does it mean? That a virgin clothed in the sun with a crown of 12 stars. The 12 stars, the crown was the constellation Leo, the main stars of the constellation Leo, plus 3 planets, visible planets at the time. Venus, Mars, and Mercury in the constellation Leo. So them together formed the 12 stars crown. And the virgin was pregnant, the Virgo virgin, the woman was pregnant, and the moon at her feet. You see, we read those texts without understanding them. What's missing is the alchemical context, the symbolism in the alchemical context. These texts have not been written as fairy tales for children. These texts have been written kind of like in the current times, right? When you put something on Facebook, there's so much censorship, you have to use a coded language. They are written in a coded language. If we know how to decode the message, then we know everything. So the moon at the virgin's feet, the woman being crowned once again. I mean, let's read it properly. The woman is being crowned again, and she takes the moon under her feet. Think about the moon hegemony over women for thousands of years, right? The moon ruling, the moon is not feminine, okay? I don't know if we spoke about it last time or not. The moon is one of the biggest psyops pulled on humans, that the moon is linked to the feminine, is linked to women. It is not. It's a fake construct. It is a construct that was put in place by the fake gods, literally as a very important part of this whole control mechanism in this whole sort of feminine and the zodiac mechanism. So the moon is that final sort of place receiving certain codes from Saturn and transferring and sort of sending them onto the earth for us to receive the mind control. So moon is a machine of mind control. This is nothing close to feminine. The moon has been specifically designed to imitate Venus, which was originally in the ancient times, it was connected to the feminine principle. So moon was really in a sly way sort of placed there, and the attention has been moved onto the moon, so that women and men support that construct.
No, is that why they used to say men are from Mars and women are from Venus?
Well,
because of the Venus being the planet of the woman, the feminine. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. And probably a lot of people think, but hold on a minute, isn't Mars a malefic planet? In the matrix, Mars has been in this matrix. There are there's a bit of a galactic tales context here that we are missing. But if we look back into the galactic history, Mars originally as the planet, just as all the other planets before they were captured into this zodiacal net and their energies were tampered with, and they started sort of serving by this technology that corrupted them. They started serving this matrix. Originally, the energy of these planets were benevolent. Mars is the seeder. He is the seeder of life. Mars is linked to the principle of seeding life, not killing, not destructive, not aggression, which is the meaning, right, of Mars in the zodiac. So obviously, I mean, the book is very nice to read, right? It's an interesting read, but of course there is something to it. There's something to it.
Yeah.
But the moon, a woman in the apocalypse taking the moon under her feet means the hegemony of the moon over women, over our cycles, over our minds has ended. What does that mean? It means, and I know that I'm going to probably surprise everybody here, the zodiac has stopped working. It stopped working. And I know 2017 it's been switched off, but guess what? Literally what's happened is the music has stopped, but we keep on dancing. It's what's happening? Have we stopped with the moon rituals? Have we stopped with the moon circles? Have we stopped with this worship? Have we stopped giving it attention? Have we stopped with sort of continuing to feed that energy to the matrix? We haven't. So the matrix has now, the plug has been pulled, but now the batteries are activated, and here we are for the last, several years continuing to live exactly in the same way, and they love it. Because they don't want us to know the truth. Because when we find out the truth, maybe we will sort of ourselves, we will plug out, right? We will stop supporting this whole construct. We will start understanding, okay, this is what happens. So I guess I have to change my ways because things are not working the same way anymore. Nobody's thinking about it. So it's like, there is a bit of an inertia. The force of inertia is literally continuing this dead mechanism to have its last sort of movements, if you like, before it fully collapses. So this is where we are. This is where we are.
Do you know how mind-blowing that is when you say that? It's like the world clock, whatever it is, above us, stopped working.
And you see, mind you, let's look to the Norse mythology. Here I am, on site, right? So I've been talking around. I've been reading the text in Norwegian. I've been really doing sort of my part here. what's Ragnarok? What's Ragnarok? What is the beginning of Ragnarok? So in the Norse mythology, Ragnarok, the end of the world, right? The end of really the doom of the gods. That's the meaning of Ragnarok. So what does the Norse mythology say about that time? That what's going to happen? So they obviously in the Norse mythology we have the concept of the tree of life, the tree of life that sort of extends into the underworld. So the sort of the worlds which are what's underworld, right? Interesting. So beautifully, Norse mythology just goes so deeply into alchemy. I love it. The middle world where we are, and the upper world. So what's upper world? The cosmic mother, the upper kingdom, and the lower world, the underworld, the kingdom of the earth. So the earth womb. So it's crossing through 3 different kingdoms, and around the universe there is a serpent, and we know this serpent, Ouroboros, right? The serpent biting its own tail. So the serpent is holding this world together. Yeah, that's the concept. So we are living in this world, these 3 sort of levels, and this world is being kept by the serpent biting its own tail. What does that mean? Well, the serpent biting its own tail, the circle is the zodiac, is the zodiac circle. So, and also this is the circle of incarnation going back, up and down, like a hamster on a wheel, right? You will never escape. You will never escape this misery. So this serpent biting its own tail at Ragnarok, it finally bites through. And let's go.
Snaps. Yeah.
So it bites through, and this circle, the serpent holding the world, it's holding the world because it's biting its own tail. This is how it's kind of holding the world. So when it bites through,
it
cannot
breaks.
hold this world. It breaks. It cannot hold this world anymore. What does that mean? This means alchemically that the zodiac falls. And I'm just telling you from the apocalypse, it happened. This is the same story. This is the same story. The zodiac falls. So Ouroboros has already bitten through the tail. Everything else is just a sequence of events. The doom.
So what does it mean?
Commenced. What it means? It means that
that the zodiac has fallen, that the zodiac has stopped working. What does it actually mean?
The zodiac is one of the key mechanism in this, or one of the key, if not the fundamental, the heart, the mechanism, the fundamental technology of this matrix. So this matrix, which is this world, the world of the gods, matrix is not our world. It is the world of those gods that they brought upon us. So,
but can I just confirm that you say you believe that obviously this world that we are living in is created by a very intelligent artificial intelligence? Is that right? So we're in like a
no. So let's go back to the Pandora, okay? That story of the Anunnaki, sorry, not the Anunnaki, the Avatar, that is literally our history. So once upon a time, humans are living on Earth, and we are a very advanced civilization spiritually. We are obviously useless in terms of defending ourselves, right? Because we are benevolent. There is no aggression here. There is no codes of aggression that we have in our DNA. And the aggressor comes. And they see, wow, this is an amazing place. And these people so connected. We can, I mean, they were, it's a little bit more sophisticated story than this, but I'm just kind of trying to compact it because we don't have a whole day. But basically they decide to use us, right, as their food. So they know that they have to cut us off from the cosmic context, from our cosmic connection, and from our earth connection. So you see, the Norse mythology has the tree of life showing the connection throughout those 3 worlds. It's still showing that. But when they are coming, they say, okay, these people are so powerful when they have this connection. we have to cut it off, because otherwise we will not be able to dominate them. So they cut us off. Specifically, it is the woman that holds this connection. A woman is a tree of life. In our energetic and alchemical construct, every woman is a tree of life. We reflect the construct of this world as a woman, because we are the creators, we are the mothers of the universes. So a woman alchemically, look guys, this is not about sort of feminism or anything, because I'm against feminism. I'm just talking from an alchemical perspective, which is what, for example, the Gnostic text, right? You can find it everywhere. So they know that if they want to dominate this world, us, they need to go after women. They need to go after women, and they need to take away our alchemical power, this is now the reason why did we have patriarchy here? Why the societies before patriarchy thrived? Patriarchy, ushering in patriarchy changes the rules of the game significantly, and women are sort of reduced to at best serving men, which is what Yahweh, when he was kicking out Adam and Eve from Eden, right? He says to Eve, you will be subservient to the man. So a woman receives certain codes. We receive those codes. This is a story, symbolic, alchemical, but it describes certain process that happened. We literally were programmed at the DNA level to be subservient towards men. Men received the opposite code, dominance over women. We carry that on the DNA level. So this is how things continued later, and the more of that lack of balance and the fact that men and all of us really, we have lost the understanding of the role of a woman, the reverence to the feminine, the reverence to the birthing process, to creation process has been lost, because we have that wisdom has kind of gotten us here. So they come and they know this is what they have to do. They have to cut us off. And part of the way of doing that is they bring the moon, which starts to control us and men as well, because this is the mind control. It starts to control us and our cycle, right? I mean, think about it. Which other animal, which other mammal menstruates 13 times a year? Is this nature, or is this farm, right?
True. Farming,
They created a farm here. They put the firmament. The firmament is, I don't know what kind of technology it is. I don't know if this is step change in dimensions, whether this is literally a technology, but it's, to me, this looks like a biocapsule. Like they have enclosed us under a biocapsule, like under some kind of dome, and they keep us here. They increased the pressure. So, our nature, we have the trees of Eden, the giant trees. So we know that once upon a time, things look different. Things were much bigger. We are smaller. Yeah. Our nature is much smaller. We have remnants of the past, which show us that something is much bigger here. If you increase the pressure, things start getting much smaller, right?
Yeah.
Is that what's happening under the dome? So they have closed us, and they have created this whole mechanism. Okay, how are we going to be sucking the energy? How are we going to run this farm? Well, we are going to get this zodiac going so that it's honestly, read Hermetica. People, you need to read. Honestly, this is written so openly, it's not even funny. In the Hermetic text, it's written very openly that the god, the archons, created this zodiac mechanism that literally is designed for our misery. It is designed for that. It's openly written. You don't have to even come up with some interpretations here. It's literally, it's that simple. It's black and white. It's written like that. It's been created for our misery, and we are to never escape it. We are to never escape it. So only people who are able to find the enlightenment, which that's another tricky term, okay? But only those that are able to see through certain things, will be able to find a way out, as long as this mechanism keeps going. So literally the end of the world, whether that's the apocalypse or the Ragnarok, it's talking about things are starting to malfunction in this matrix, in this mechanism, under the dome and the dome itself. The moon gets switched off, not switched off as in it stops shining, because you still, let's face it, we still see it, but the influence, the technology has been switched off. So it is not anymore, it does not, a woman has taken it under its feet. It means it doesn't rule our head anymore. We took it under our feet. And what do we have on our head? A crown. What does that mean? Again, a very alchemical symbol. Think about, you see, this is, I would need a little bit more time to kind of explain it, what's a crown for women, because it kind of goes back to ethnic teachings, to some of the older, the kind of witch times teachings about what's a crown on a woman. Why, for example, the kings, why do they have a crown? Why the Pope wears some kind of headpiece? Of course, he wears the fish head because he's the fisher of men. That's a different story. But all of them have some kind of headpiece or a crown. Why? Because they are all mimicking something that a woman has. They will always, the whole story has always been about mimicking whatever a woman naturally is able to do. They couldn't quite do the same what we can do, because they are not women. That race, that we're talking about, the Anunnaki, of course that they had females in that race. However, there was a conflict that happened at that race level between their males and the females. So effectively, the ones that are here and are seeking domination and are authors of this whole sort of mechanism are not females of that race. It's the males. It's the males. So what they did, they kind of used the same dynamic. They superimposed it onto us. So they've created conflict between us. Haven't we had conflict with, right? I mean, there is that tension between men and women, right? And
absolutely, yeah.
The divide, the rift happened thousands and thousands of years ago. So we are only...
And look how many men now are trying to, are dressing up like women, and
that's another story, right? That's another story.
Yeah. But they're trying to ruin the female, exactly. What the female really represents. They're trying to ruin it.
Absolutely, because you see, another thing, and I will never stop talking about it, is that, come on, if we are scratching the surface about what's really happening right now, what's the meaning of the times now, how exciting this is, and how powerful and full of hope it is for us. It's not hopeless, it's the opposite. Then how much do they know? They knew about it thousands of years ago. They knew this time was coming. They knew it. So they are desperately afraid, because this is unprecedented. Okay, this is unprecedented. Why? There are certain cosmic synchronicities. There are certain things, certain cycles that are overlapping here. 3 of them, 3 major, coming at the same time, which is the time now. So that we did not have before. So we didn't really have such a strong cosmic support for this process to take place like we have now.
Yeah.
So literally, they are at wit's end, trying everything, including the fact that, we are right now standing at, I call it at the gate to the age of Aquarius. And Aquarius, this whole notion of Aquarius, age of Aquarius, is another misunderstood, quite strongly misunderstood concept, because first of all, to begin with, Aquarius is not a man. Aquarius is a woman. If you look up the constellation Aquarius, of course, on many programs on the internet, you will see it as a man man holding a pitcher, a chalice, one step away from a holy grail, pouring water of life. That's not a man. Aquarius is a woman. Mythologically, that is Hebe. So the woman with the jar or with a pitcher. But when you look into that more alchemical side of things with Mary Magdalene, with the teachings around Jesus times, right? A woman with the alabaster jar, that's Mary Magdalene. So the Aquarius is a woman, it's not a man. So you see, we are really getting a few things going on at the same time here, because what is the meaning of what does it mean that we are entering the times of Age of Aquarius? It means that we are entering times of return of a woman with a chalice pouring water. What does that mean? A woman who has regained or reconnected with her own alchemy. Age of Aquarius is the age of return of alchemical women. This is exactly what they are terrified of. This is why you have this agenda. Let's flip the genders. Let's confuse them all. Let's first of all make women want to be masculine, because when women try to step into masculine behaviors and masculine energy, we lose connection with that feminine. There is no alchemy. Forget alchemy. There's no alchemy that's happening. So whenever a woman is starting to fight, starting to be aggressive, starting to, want to be kind of dominant and fighting and screaming and shouting, which is pretty much, unfortunately, that kind of position taken by the feminists, you cannot be further from where you should be. So the feminism is a CIA controlled movement, so it's all by design, of course, for the time, right? Like everything. This agenda is not by accident. The fact that they've been putting hormones into our children's food for 30 years, and right now we have this generation of 20-30-year-olds who don't know even if they are a boy or a girl.
I know, very sad.
Now, absolutely, but it's all by design.
So really, what you're saying is we are now going back into entering the feminine, where women should now start coming back into their own feminine divinity and power to restore the I don't know, the energy, the balance of something to come out of this.
Absolutely. So here we are touching again on one of the most beautiful secrets of the feminine line of what women do, which is our nature, which is we give birth. We give birth and we feed. We breastfeed, right? Which has been originally a very broad spectrum of abilities, and that has been over time reduced to giving birth to a child and breastfeeding a child. That is this much from the original capacity, the alchemical capacity of that of those processes. So that goes back to the chalice, that goes back to the Holy Grail, which is the woman's womb, alchemical woman's womb. If a woman has, thanks to her womb, thanks to our construct, thanks to our energetic, physical, alchemical construct, hormonal construct, if we have the ability to bring a soul from another dimension into this world, materialize it, bring it in, then what else do we have the capacity and the ability to bring in? That's been hidden from us. This is something that has been forgotten. But you see, this kind of wisdom, this kind of knowledge is exactly what the witches would have been burned at the stake hundreds of years ago for. They would have been burned for this knowledge, because this was wisdom that was directly threatening to the matrix. Witches had capacity and wisdom, abilities to literally affect and start to dissolve the very fabric of this matrix. They literally messed with the technology through their energy, through the alchemy that they were able to access. So right now, women, and when I talk about alchemy, so that it's clear, because I think this is one of the main issues as well, that people don't know what's alchemy. Alchemy, the feminine alchemy, has nothing to do with sort of cooking up a storm, potions and nothing like that. The feminine alchemy is the alchemy of the womb, which is obviously a result of our hormonal sort of composition, if you like, our endocrine system, our physical construction, the fact that we are the tree of life, we are by design capable to be connected to the underworld and capable to be connected to the upper kingdom, and the womb being in this plane, because here we are in the middle world with our womb. So the whole point is that in this time, women should be connecting to the upper kingdom, to the, what's the upper kingdom? Well, the cosmic womb, center of the Milky Way galaxy. From there, right now, we have codes, energy, let's call it energy, the dark matter, the dark energy coming our way, which is literally the fabric of the entire universe, right? This is what everything is made out of. These are the original codes of creation. They are flowing our way, but that's not the only energy. There is also energy flowing from the womb of the Earth Mother, flowing from, if you want to be scientific about it, you know, these are not some kind of tales. This is measurable energy. There are certain scientists, Russia, in some other sort of more independent places that are independent, as in they are not part of that kind of mainstream propaganda, the you know, the West and all that. There are some sort of independent scientists that are reporting presence of energy which is literally bombarding us, and the influence or the force, the amount of this energy has been growing exponentially literally since 2017. So what happened? The influx has been coming from two directions: from the outside, as in from the cosmic sort of direction, from the center of the Milky Way galaxy, and also from inside of the Earth. And it's meeting, but that's just the energy. It's coming into this plane. And then what? Well, this is the problem, because that's just the energy. That's just the potential. If it doesn't find grounding, if it doesn't get received, how? Into the chalice, into the Holy Grail. If it doesn't get received and materialized, meaning birthed, and that's where woman comes in, then that's just an energy. Then that's not good enough. So our job, the return of alchemical women, the age of Aquarius, a woman with the pitcher pouring water of life, it is literally that whole scene, that whole constellation coded something for us to know what to do at the time now, which is we are to receive these energies that are so abundantly flowing towards us. We are to receive them. We are to materialize them and birth them into what?
How do you do that?
Well,
how do you do that?
This is the thing. How do you do that is the question coming from here. If you got pregnant and I ask you how you're gonna give birth, right? It's the wisdom of your body will guide you. So I know that it's a little bit like, well, hold on a minute, but we have no idea what you're talking about. Be out in the nature, leave the internet, stop listening to that, stop listening to the what's the agenda 2030, because there's propaganda on both sides. Okay, AI, CGI technology, creating images, scare stories, FEMA camps and all the good stuff. I mean, we've seen them all. Stop with that, because they need us. You know what they do? They plant that into our wombs and we give birth to that, as in we bring in that reality as women. Stop with that. Like, stop watching that. Stop engaging with that. Go out to the nature. Touch we're women. I know that maybe men are listening to us thinking, what sort of crazy woman is this talking nonsense? But trust me, as a woman, a lot of women, and they come to me as well and they speak with me, women feel this. I am not maybe able to explain this very well to men because they kind of, their role in this process is a little bit different, so they may not be that connected to this, but women feel this. Women feel that there is something that they are kind of, I don't know, there's something cooking for them. They can feel really connecting to this feminine principle again. Something is there for them. They can feel this reclaiming the womb. There is a bit of a flavor, right, in that. So a lot of women can feel that they go out to the nature. They feel very close to the earth. They feel very close to. They look up, to the stars. They feel connected. There is something that you are intuitively guided to. Like, I can even disappear from the internet. You will still feel it. So when you are connected, when you are feeling that, just let your body guide you. Because you see, alchemy is not a mental process. Alchemy is process of your body. It is the result of you being connected to your hormones, right, to the womb. And that is not a mental process. Getting pregnant with a child is not a mental process. Your body takes over, right? Just like during birth. Like, you can read 20 books about how to give birth, and in the end, it's like whatever. You kind of connect to the wisdom of the body. So, of course, we can go deeper into details, and I can tell you, but sometimes I don't like to do that because it kind of creates a mental exercise. Like, you're gonna be out there and you're gonna, what did Ola say? Did I do it right? I have to make notes. No, you have to feel it. You have to feel it. Women need to, there's an element of a state that's required here. The state is state of bliss. State of bliss, which is literally that kind of state. Sometimes maybe you go out to the nature and it's warm and it's beautiful. You smell the flowers, you smell the grass, and it's amazing. Maybe it's that morning when the sun is just about to come up, or it already came up, and it's just so beautiful. It makes you want to cry. It's just so amazing. It's just such an amazing feeling. That's the bliss. So if a woman can have that in her womb, okay, and experience such a feeling, trust me, the job is done. You're doing the job. You're doing it. Because women, you see, the way this matrix works is that whatever is happening inside of a woman, because we give birth naturally, we just don't understand that we also give birth to things that we don't physically see. So we think that birthing is a child, right? A child needs to kind of show up. That's not the only way. So everything that happens in the woman happens outside. As within, so without. It's about the woman. It's not about the zodiac. So as above, so below. As within, so without. Everything that happens inside of a woman is reflected or happens in the outside world. Why? Because a woman births it. It's just that so far we have been kept in the lowest of vibrations, right? We have been scared, we have been raped, we have been abused, we have been pushed sort of to the sort of back seat, right?
Yeah.
And this is the world that we have given birth to. This is because we've been kept in that kind of place, which is where they wanted to keep us. So when a woman is happy and she is fulfilled and she's in that bliss state, this is the kind of energy that is going to be flowing through her. She's going to be birthing. You don't have to know how this happens. It's not a mind process. You have to feel it. You have to feel the connection with the earth. You have to feel the connection with something more, however you define it. Forget the vocabulary that I used. As long as you feel it, and you feel that positive bliss within yourself, the alchemy is going to be, the magic is going to be happening. That's all it takes to at least kickstart certain processes. Yeah. And the thing is that there are women already out there doing it. This is not like we are not. We're not in a hopeless place. We're not. And look how desperate they are getting, right? Look what's happening on the other side. And really, if we look back, when was it? A year and a half ago, we were in a situation where I think around the corner we were gonna get the vaccine passports, right? And suddenly, literally almost overnight, like this, they just pulled out of it. I think it was the UK that was the first place. Well, suddenly overnight, all the restrictions, all the nonsense ended, right? Yeah. And you guys suddenly were able to travel and all that. And then it was a domino effect throughout Europe. It happened in Norway very quickly after, and in Poland and in other countries. And of course, there is a bit of a more drama going on in America for certain political reasons. They obviously are going into a presidential election 2024. So there's a bit of a different context there. But still, what happened? What happened? And, and they're not going to come out and say, look, some witches stood there and, they could sort of throw our plans through the window. They're not going to admit that.
And it was a lot of women rising during the 2020. Exactly. It was more women. And it was a fact. It can't be disputed. This is not about who's stronger, but it was.
But there was
women.
Also a bit of a silent, I call it the silent revolution, because women, if women start fighting, then we lost. If women start exhibiting masculine behaviors, like literally women going there shouting, screaming, fighting, then we've lost. But women who firmly stand and say, no, I am here for life. Like the lioness, right? I mean the fierceness of the feminine, of the female, even in the animal world, the lioness, the mother elephant, the mother zebra. Whenever there is a threat to the young, she's more fierce, more dangerous than the male, but not out of wanting aggression, not out of revenge, out of protecting life. This has always been our highest calling. We protect life, all life. We should stand and always protect life, never attack for domination or for aggression, but always protect life. So women standing up finally for ourselves to begin with, but then nicely falling back into our feminine and into our alchemy.
Yep.
That's the magic. That's the magic.
I don't know about anyone else, but Ola, you have literally sent chills through me all throughout this conversation. I have been listening to you, and there's moments where I'm just going like goosebumps, literally all through me, and quite a lot, because I feel that what you're saying, I can actually really relate to it, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. I'm sure there's many other people that are watching and experiencing the same, because it's so powerful, and I believe it because I feel it. I feel it through your words, through your energy, and I feel it through me, and you're absolutely right. And it's not a competition between men and women. It's the difference between the roles.
Exactly.
You
see, this is what I mean, that many women, I'm not presenting to anybody my opinion. This is not an opinion. I stand for a lore of wisdom of women from Eastern Europe, from back in the old days. Women also now that I've been living in Norway for 12, 13 years. So I had that contact. I've been around the world. I've been exposed to different cultures, and I've been sort of looking to see, how is this tying together, and it is everywhere. So this is our wisdom, this is our forgotten wisdom. So when I share it, this is not some kind of new teaching. I'm literally sharing something that probably resonates deep on the DNA level. I'm like touching that little code and helping you to remember. This is not me teaching anybody anything new. And this is why feel connected to this, because this is ours. This is not new. This is ours. So and I get very passionate about it. Probably piss off a lot of people, but
but it's you're passionate about something that is very, very strong inside you, and like you say, you're letting your body.
when you really connect to that, because you see, this cannot be it cannot stay as a nice once every few months I will listen to a podcast, right? We're beyond that. We're past that. If you feel connected to this, you're ready. You have to explore it for yourself. It's time to literally every single one of us listening to do our thing. And I'm saying our thing on purpose, because there is nothing I can teach anybody. I don't have to, and I shouldn't, and I will never try to teach anything anybody unless you come and ask me, which even then I will try to guide you back to the wisdom of your body, because you know it, you feel it deep inside of you. But every single one of us, if there is a highest calling for every single woman on the earth right now at this time, it's this one.
That's amazing. I've got a lady asking, where can she follow you? Is it at Self Mastery Quest?
Absolutely. Right. She can also find me on Facebook, Self Mastery Quest on Facebook as well.
And your website, is it selfmasteryquest.com?
That's right.
Yeah. .com. I'll put the details for everyone at the end on the heading. So I'm just not very well organised, and I should do it all in the beginning, but I don't. I'll just update it at the end.
That's the feminine chaos. It's the beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm quite comfortable in my chaotic day. Absolutely. I know where everything is.
Well, we get it all, right? So we all do it.
I will link it, Claire. Absolutely. Someone said, do you have any wise words for the men?
Absolutely. Wise words for the men. First of all, the same as for everybody, the same as for women. Please get off the TikToks. Please stop getting angry with this nonsense agenda that's playing out there. It is literally to take our attention away from what we just discussed today. Because when we are sitting and still believing that this matrix is sort of, still upon us, and the doom is upon us, and it's all going one way, and it's Agenda 2030, we're all gonna die, and Klaus is going to do his bit. Forget that, because you see, they, if I may say, and I will come back to the men, but they, the way this works, right, is they come up with their rituals. So they are operating initially on an energetic level. When it hits us physically, this is just the outcome. This is just the sort of the aftermath. But really, the sort of the strings are pulled on an energetic level. So us getting angry in the physical world, or trying to protest and demonstrate and trying to go and start a fire somewhere, a little bit too late and a little bit too low. This is the wrong playing field. You want to meet them, you meet them here, and here is alchemy. So this is where women need to come back to the plate. Need to step up to the plate, come back to the plate, because the alchemy is our domain. It's not men's domain, it's our domain. So men's job it's a beautiful job, okay, and I hope I'm not gonna piss anyone off, because the message is actually deep. The men's job is the same one as always, which is you are here to protect us, but most of all to help us to create for us a safe place, a comfortable place as in peace of mind, peace. So you are to navigate the relationship with us, to see us for the alchemy that we are bringing, to see us for the whole entirety of the landscape, not just for what we all been programmed to see about the woman: give birth to children, make a coffee. No. Yeah. You are to see the woman for the woman in her, for the alchemy in her. And when you do, you will kind of gain a little bit different level of maybe respect or maybe appreciation to what a woman is really able to do in this world. So if men can take care of that part, sort of being able to see us, being able to create a safe space for us, look after us, take care of us. I'm not talking finances, forget that, that's TikTok, forget that. I'm talking about creating a safe space so that the woman can focus on alchemy. If a woman, so this is the highest calling of a man, to create that safe space, to create peace, to give peace for a woman. Because a woman, especially if you are paired up, if you are in a relationship, then if a woman doesn't have that peace, if she doesn't get seen, if she isn't recognized for that, if she isn't appreciated, it's going to be very difficult for her to reconnect with that. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but that would be a very good beginning.
There's when you talk about the film
Avatar?
Oh God, Avatar. It was her mother who was the wisest. It was always even her father, who was the king there, stepped back, and she came forward and she made the final decision because she was the one that used her wisdom.
It's even you see it's quite nicely shown the distribution of roles there. These are not the main roles, okay? These are the roles, as in men are the ones to protect, to defend, the fighters, right? And women are the ones connected. Women are the ones spiritual. Remember when the first scene where Jake, the kind of human in Avatar body, when he was brought into the village, when he was sort of caught and brought in, it was the mother, right? It was exactly the same.
That's right.
But she was the one that sort of took something. She cut him a little bit. She sort of tasted the blood, and she got some messages. So women are the ones connected. Women are the ones that have that sort of speed dial to the ancestors, to the underworld, to the upper kingdom. Men. This is not to say that men are not connected, but the function is sort of led by women, and there is a lot of things. Just I mean, I'm sorry, but this is how we are constructed. We can talk about equality all day long, but in the end of the day, men do not give birth to children or to anything else. Women do. So it's just different things. Both very important, but different. So very nice distribution of. Very nice kind of way of showing exactly that deep spiritual aspect and connection which resides with women.
And before we go, I've got a moon coming up already, which is most bizarre because it's just and it was only a few nights ago, I think it was a full moon. Was it last week? And already it's really coming. But I don't know about everyone else here. But this recent full moon, I believe, from what I felt, caused a lot of chaos. And for some reason, this full moon was very hypnotizing, but it was different to the rest. Do you know anything maybe about this recent full moon we've had? There was a bad energy.
Right. So there is an interesting thing, you see, because I have heard that kind of, I actually got a question a few days ago from a man from the UK, interestingly, right? Because you Laura, and probably a lot of people who are watching are in the UK. So it was a man from the UK writing me and saying exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
So, and I am in Norway, and of course me, and I am probably the only astrologer in the universe who does not care, give a monkeys about the moon, and you know why. I have no idea what phase it is in. I don't care. I only know when I have to do someone's chart. That's the only time when I have to worry about it. So there is absolutely zero effect that I have felt of that kind. It's very interesting to me that the man who approached me about it also came from the UK. So it kind of makes me wonder, is there a localized kind of, not effect, because there is no effect, but is there a localized little psyop, that's kind of trying to make you guys have a certain reaction, or maybe, somebody's planting seeds that, oh, this moon is causing this and that. And when you start saying that, guess what? That's going to be the reaction in a minute. So my overall advice, because like I say, we are living in the same world. If I get on a plane in 2 hours, I will be with you. So I am really looking at the same moon as you. That's not been my experience. And I have not heard that from anybody else. I've heard that from the UK only. So
strange.
So I don't know if something has been spilled in the water, in quotation marks, for you guys to have a certain reaction. But I would say that to me, it's more on a psychological level. I don't think there is anything specifically going on. if I may give one liner advice, do not focus on the moon. Leave it. Do not follow the phases. Do not try to sort of ascribe your moods to it. Oh, it's full moon, I can't sleep. Oh, it's full moon, I'm really anxious and I'm angry and I'm reactive. Forget it. Forget it. I have stopped altogether. And of course, you know, from time to time I drive and this freaking thing is in my face. Of course it's gonna happen, you know, but just ignore it. Just ignore it. Don't pay attention at all. Don't pay attention. And I can guarantee you, over time, suddenly the influence of the moon is going to diminish.
Wow.
A lot of psychological sort of mind control effect that we have here. This is not real. This is not real, because if it was real, then I would be hearing it left, right, and center. I would feel it myself. I'm not feeling it. I did not feel it. You know, sometimes I'm a little bit embarrassed because people contact me and talk about the moon. It's this phase, that phase, and I'm like, I don't know what phase it is. So, you know, I have to Google what phase it is. So it's a little bit embarrassing, right? Maybe, but this is my lack of relationship with the moon. So I strongly recommend take it under your feet.
Excellent. Cut the cord with the moon. So you do astrology? Is that's what you do?
I do actually. I like to call it the matrix codes. It's not just astrology. I use Babylonian astrology. I use Vedic astrology because these are the ones that I find the most sort of the ones that I seem to see matrix trying to follow. And of course, the Babylonian, you know, goes back to the Mesopotamia, the Sumerian times when the Anunnaki and that kind of context happens. So these are the first sort of the first authors or the first receivers and the ones who are learning from their masters, from the gods, about this mechanism, right? About this whole context. So I do Babylonian and Vedic astrology. I also do numerology. I usually use the Chaldean, but I kind of have a cheeky look at Pythagorean, but I like the Chaldean. I also use a Kabbalistic numerology method. So that is a very, very nice method based only on your name of birth. So if somebody doesn't know their time of birth, no problem. Yeah. So it's very, very nice to use that if somebody wants to go down that path. And I do some relationships reading if somebody's struggling. It doesn't have to be a romantic. It can be sort of, you know, between a child and the parent, or I don't know, at work or whatever. So I do that as well. And finally, I do more sort of individual teachings in that alchemy side of things. So both for men and for women. For men, it's called the feminine alchemy, and for women, it's called the Grail Knight, because that's what you are. Men are the Grail's knights, the knights to the Grail, right? So
wow.
This is
wow.
The alchemical woman and the knight who is guarding the Grail.
So when we talk about the Holy Grail, we're talking about the woman.
Absolutely. We're talking about so the womb, the Holy Grail. You know, nobody's gonna be digging a hole and finding a Holy Grail. Okay, forget that. And even if they try to do that, it's a lie. Holy Grail is the womb, and always been the womb of a fully awakened, meaning alchemical woman.
Wow. Do you have any books that you can recommend to us that maybe could get people started on the journey?
I would love to recommend some books, but I have seen that most of the books will have, you know, either will unfortunately take bait on the moon, on the whole moon deception. So, you know, they will be sort of passing the message that the moon is positive and the moon goddess and all that kind of side of things, or books that are really distorting the context of the sexual connection between man and a woman, going kind of into tantra. That is wrong as well. So I'm being very, very clear on that. Okay, the promiscuity, the sort of sexual openness that is the sacred prostitution. This is nonsense. Okay, this is a distortion of the teachings. So I can definitely recommend the book that if I can mention that. That's a book called Womb Awakening by Seren Bertrand. But please use your own discernment. I'm gonna leave it as that. Okay, it's beautifully written. It's beautifully written, but you have to be a little bit, the discernment needs to be there. You're gonna know what I'm talking about when you read it.
Okay, wonderful. Do we have any questions before Ola goes? Again, guys, I'll put the link to Ola's website, which is selfmasteryquest.com, and also the same on Facebook. Do you still do the what's your view on karma and natural law?
Okay, good one. I love it. Karma is karma, Maya. Okay, karma, the sin, karma for the East, concept for the East, sin, concept for the West, right? So there's always we do something and we have to pay back for it, right? So karma is, and please listen carefully. Karma is a construct of this matrix. Karma it's not real. Karma is part of the Maya, this illusion, this matrix. The karma is a way to get you back, to convince you, oh, you have done this, and that. Now you have to go back and repay that. You have to go back and meet those people and you have to work it out with them. This whole concept of karma and, us coming in here and needing to go supposedly through certain experiences because in the past life that you don't even remember, you cannot be even held accountable for, but supposedly you have messed up and you have done something wrong, and in this life you have to pay back for it. You have to be really, really discerning and critical about it. It doesn't make sense. Okay, when you dig deeper into the text, karma is a construct of this matrix. So don't worry about the karma. This is not to say do whatever you like, kill people, because there is obviously a context of cosmic laws which we are under. But karma, no, karma is part of the matrix.
Interesting. And I agree with you. How can you pay for something you've done in a previous life when you don't even remember it?
Well, and did you really do that in previous life, or have you just
exactly
have you just gone to someone? Because mind you, and it's really, really, I would be very careful here, because there's a lot of people who are claiming to be reading or clearing your karma or reading your past lives. Can you really 100% trust that? Can you really 100%, it's an information that you cannot verify, right? I mean, if you go to someone and you pay them some money and they say to you that in the past life you were killed by someone, and for this reason in this life, this person, you're meeting them and you have a bad relationship because actually there is this and that. Plausible story. I mean, it kind of makes sense, but does that really give you something? The feminine line says, look, the only thing that matters is now. And really, really, this life is the only thing that we are dealing with. That's the only thing that you have some kind of influence over, right? Anything that happened or maybe didn't happen, maybe somebody read something correctly, maybe incorrectly. Is that even important? Not really.
Very true. And so when you talk about a natural law, what did the lady say about the natural law and why they have to reveal to us their plan?
Well, to me, they reveal their plans. There is almost an element of laughing in our faces to an extent, because they've been revealing their plans not for the last 3 years. They've been revealing their plans for thousands of years, right? This whole matrix is designed in a way where we are told openly a lot of things, and we still don't know what we are dealing with. So there is an element of, they despise us. They look at us like idiots. They never thought. There are certain texts, there are certain scriptures that talk about the times when they were organizing this whole construct, and they were sort of conversations that were going on at that time between the Draco and the Anunnakis, the kind of lower Draco, higher reptilian races, and they were saying that, you know, people, the humans, they are so spiritually, they are kind of so spiritually connected, they will never fall for the game that we are preparing. It will never happen. And Marduk was the one very kind of strongly behind a lot of the solutions, the final solutions. And he said, leave it with me. Don't worry about it. I will do it in a way they will go for it. And we did. And humans did. So there is also this element of just looking down at us, like looking at as a bunch of idiots. So there is that element. And of course, you know, when they reveal their plans, and we do not oppose, because we don't oppose, they reveal their plans and we do nothing, then it's like, well, you give permission. What's the problem? It's not to do with karma, because I know that there is this notion of this is about karma, them escaping karma. It's a bit of a, you see, in the concept of the matrix, karma works, as in, if you believe in it, if you subscribe to it, if you if you don't know what to do with yourself after you die, then you're gonna be pulled up and karma is going to be used against you. So if you sign up to that notion, it works. But the point is, this is not the gospel, okay? This is not the truth, the universal truth. This is just a localized tool that's been used under this matrix, and at certain level for the little slaves of this race, of course, they also fall under this matrix. So, you know, and you will be surprised that only at very, very high level of Freemasonry, they get told what the hell is going on here. Up until even 31, 32 degree in the Freemasonry, they have no idea what's going on. So they, in a way, they also fall under that karma if they believe in that, right? So there are a few things going on here. There's an element of very strong and high despise for us. There is laughing in our faces, and there is obviously telling us, revealing what the plan is. And if the fools don't have a problem with that, if they accept it, well, then what's the problem? So this is why this show has been going on, because we have not had anything against it.
And now, and so really, to round this up, we need to raise our frequency, our energy, by not being angry and attacking each other and living in a low vibrational state. We need to find a way to get up there a few notches.
I would say, because you see, this is like almost right touching on that new agey, we have to raise vibrations, and in a minute we will jump into 5D. So let's see where we are for a minute, okay? It's gonna be okay here if we, you know, the matrix is dissolving. So this is literally us needing to be a little bit more discerning about, how do you want to relate to your brothers and sisters? Do we really need to live in this competition? Do we really need to hate one another? Do we really need to fight? Can we see past it? Can we see that the bread and circuses, they need to stop working on us? Yeah, we need to see a little bit deeper past the what they are throwing. They're throwing us all these sort of topics to take our attention away, all these things for us to get angry about. We need to see past it. We need to see past it, and we need to start relating to one another from a totally different angle. So this whole dog eat dog and let's step on each other's faces to get ahead, right? That needs to end. And you know, it needs to come from us, because we are actually the ones we are waiting for. It's us. No one else is coming.
Yep, very, very true. Thank you so much, Ola. There's, I'm going to leave it there. And people have already said, when can you come back again?
Oh, bless you. Thank you.
So hopefully soon, maybe you can come back and talk about something. Yeah. I have thoroughly enjoyed talking to you, listening to you, and obviously all your knowledge. It's been beautiful. So from all of us, thank you, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Please share this live if you've enjoyed it, and hopefully we'll see Ola again very soon. Okay. That's it. I've got no more questions. Everyone's totally amazed by what you said. Loved you. And you are literally beautiful inside and out, and it's very true what you're saying.
Thank you so much for the opportunity for having me, and thank you so much to everybody for sticking around and for being with us tonight.
You're welcome. They love you. The people love you here. Yeah, absolutely. Right. Thank you, guys. Much love to you. Please share this live, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Mwah. Bye-bye.
Everybody.